Hello, my loves. I have got a sandwich of blessing and releasing for you today. Disappointment, grief, resentment, anger. We're going to integrate and transmute all of it. Today, we are doing very specific teaching from the book Bless and Release, The Physics of Letting Go and Wanting What's Meant for You. I am going to break down the sequence of going from disappointment, which everybody experiences. You are born, hello. You're going to be disappointed. It's part of the way that we become more conscious. And how disappointment cascades into anger and what we can do about it. Okay, you might want to take a deep breath because we're really going to unpack here. Bless and release disappointment. Bless and release grief. Bless and release resentment. Bless and release anger. I know this list might appear a little overwhelming, I know, but all of these experiences and emotions of disappointment, grief, resentment, anger, they're all interconnected. Where there's anger present, there's usually unresolved grief from the past. If we just pull at one thread, we can unravel a lot of energy and unravel a lot of emotion. And that energy and emotion can be transmuted into productive power. So here's the sequence for you. This is the disappointment to anger sequence. 1, unmet needs lead to disappointment. 2, disappointment gives rise to grief. 3, unresolved grief turns into resentment. 4, holding on to resentment creates anger. So, disappointment leads to grief. You don't work on that, leads to resentment, and you hold on to that, it's going to create anger. All of these energies can find resolution with focused, positive intention, with blessing. So let's talk about disappointment into grief. First comes the disappointment of unmet needs. Welcome to Earth. Welcome to being a human. This is a very natural predicament since we're all just humans learning how to heal ourselves and heal each other, most specifically through relationships. There is a 100% likelihood that, to varying degrees, we will all feel unseen, unheard, or not loved in ways that we want to be loved and seen and heard. And maybe this makes you feel like we're all in this together or totally bereft, but the experience of unmet needs is something we all have in common. When we're children, we aren't able to fully process not having our needs met. This can start in infancy. It can happen on the first day of kindergarten. Regardless of when it happens, the implicit grief that comes from unmet needs, it registers in our energy field. And we haul it around until we're mature enough to process it on our own or until we can afford therapy, whichever comes first. Eventually, when we're more energetically robust and wiser, and we have the psychological fortitude, then we can process the disappointment and the grief if we choose to. My prayer is that we all choose to. Let's talk about grief into resentment. If we don't treat our grief with compassion, it thickens. It thickens into resentment over time. Resentment can be a little bit cranky or it can be seething. Resentment is one of the root causes of cynicism and doubt. Resentment often causes us to hoard resources out of fear of lack, or fear of future disappointment. Resentment most definitely makes us guarded. And this is really liberating to know. Resentment is a huge obstacle to abundance. Abundance in all forms, abundance of love, success, of comfort, of friendship. Holding on to our unmet needs perpetuates not having our needs met in the present. You see? It becomes this vicious cycle of chasing and not receiving. So we're pushing it away. Working harder to get our needs met creates a repulsion effect in our magnetic field. Let's talk about resentment into anger. Imagine what blessing work could do for grief. We bring a specific resentment or a complaint into the heart space. And instead of judging it, we witness it. We love it, knowing that we're in a safe place now. We take a few steady breaths. We allow that rainbow spectrum of light to gently loosen the resentment. We soften resentfulness, and we create space for sadness. This is healthy. Now imagine if you never did that work. We're resentful about this and that, so many things. What started as heartbreak and then moved into some crankiness about not getting what we want becomes so dense and heavy that it sinks into anger. Many people spend a lifetime in this space. So let's talk about anger into healing. Maybe we get a life coach, or we find a church, or we join a program that has steps or modules. We meditate. And in all earnestness, we try to become a more loving person by finally dealing with our anger. But we ask our anger to behave. We try and transform it with patience, with gratitude. We tell it that it has no right to exist, essentially, as if that's going to make our anger go away. Telling ourselves that we're wrong for being angry. We're telling our anger that it's wrong to exist. Unconsciously, we're cursing our anger rather than healing it. And you may believe that you would be a better person without your anger, that you'd be more lovable, that you'd be more worthy of having your needs met. But baby, if you fight your anger, it will fight you right back. Your anger is looking to be seen, to be heard, to be loved. Bless it, and it will stop acting out. What we embrace transforms and makes us more loving. Bless and release your disappointment, your grief, your resentment, your anger. Bless it all. How about we all bless and release, trying to convince others that we are right and they're wrong? The ego wants validation. The heart wants to get on with living. When you feel compelled to convince someone of anything, breathe into your heart and bless your impatience and desire to be right. Something similar but different. Bless and release the idea that because you were wrong, you don't belong. We're going to get it wrong. We learn and grow through contrast. Making mistakes doesn't mean that you do not belong at the table. Which is all related to blessing and releasing your fear of rejection. I think rejection is one of the most painful parts of being human. We all deal with it. We all deal with rejection in various forms, being dismissed, silenced, invalidated. Often, it can be traced back to a childhood wound that has become adaptive, a theme that keeps showing up in adulthood, the repeat lesson. So in this sense, rejection could be considered the root cause of trauma, one of the root causes of trauma. When we're rejected as children for who we are, we grow up looking for proof in the world that we're not wanted or worthy of acceptance. We're looking to validate our original experience of rejection. At the same time, we work really hard to not be rejected. We perform, we fawn, mask, go quiet, get louder, and not so ironically, we end up feeling like no one knows the real us. The fear of rejection stays active in our energy field, and it plays out in our relationships. You may win the Pulitzer, but your brother still hasn't read your book. Your love crush lost interest in you when you told them about the New World Order. You launched something that you're proud of, but it didn't get the clicks. Somehow you can't seem to get the thing you want most. eventually, the rejection pain intensifies until you're fed up. And this is good because then you see the pattern. You've spent your life trying not to be rejected. Don't get rejected has become your survival strategy. And that fear has created more of the same, more rejection. Healing begins when you give yourself what you've been seeking all along: acceptance. You breathe into your heart. You bring in that pain of rejection. And I know it can feel gross, but it's also going to be energizing at the same time. And there, right next to your rejection phobia, you see something else. It's the most sublimely beautiful desire to be loved for who you are. You bring it into your heart, the vibration is raised, and then you release it back into your energy field, lighter. Okay, loves, as promised, let's wrap up this conversation with doing the centering practice. This will take us about 4 minutes. You can do this in 90 seconds. You can do this as a 21-minute meditation. All right, let's do the centering practice, shall we? So we've been talking about disappointment, grief, resentment, anger. Gives you so much material to work with. I'm going to give you the emotions again. Choose which one feels most relevant, most alive. Here we go. Disappointment, grief, resentment, anger. Which one of those do you want to work on healing? And then let's not choose like the whole theme of disappointment, grief, resentment, and anger that you've ever experienced in your whole life. Just choose like a thing that happened. One thing that is there, smaller, not about extreme trauma. It's just like part of the mosaic. Okay? You got it? You thinking about it? That's what you're going to work with in the centering practice. So, your breathing is natural. As always, that means you're inhaling and exhaling through your nose, keeping your mouth closed. Put your right hand on your heart. Taking a few deep breaths. Already balancing your nervous system. You can put your hand down in prayer formation or just on your lap if you're moving. That is awesome. Then to relax the mind, think a really positive thought or bring in like a really high vibration energy. You're thinking about love or compassion or swimming or yoga or kissing or your favorite puppy dog day ever. Positive thought. Then you become aware that in the center of your heart, there's this golden light. It's luminous, it's warm, it's friendly. Your heart center is filled with gold light. Now, whatever you've decided to center, working on this to heal, bring that into your heart chakra right now. You can see it as a word, as a situation, as the text that you got, as an image, a symbol. For those of us who don't see things when we close our eyes, you can just think about it. Your breathing's natural. And now we work with the full spectrum of color. You could just see a rainbow. You could see a really light, diffused effect of the prism, the light prism. I'll walk you through the colors. Imagine colors shining through a stained glass window. So pinks, light oranges, like peach tone color, gold, shimmery, light yellows. Everything is lit up from within. What you've brought into the center of your heart for healing is basking in these healing frequencies. Then we've got the color of light green, really translucent and minty. Clear blue, sky blue. Everything is very dynamic, glowing. And then finally, last color in the rainbow spectrum, a very translucent violet. It's like a lavender or a lilac. The pinks, the peaches, the golds, the minty greens, the light blues, that lavender color, undulating, shimmering, healing. This is you being the energy healer. You're not thinking about this. You're doing the energy work with color, with light. The center of your heart where all transmutation happens. Your breathing is natural. What you've brought in to be healed is basking in color frequencies, healing energies, physics backed, mysticism proven. This is you identifying as the healer. Take a few more breaths. The pinks, the peaches, the golds, the minty greens, sky blues, lavender. Whatever you've brought into your heart to heal gets to rest. Rest in that spaciousness, in that intention. And one of the most important parts of this practice is you just let it rest. You don't have to think about it. There's no more analysis. You've done the most important work done an energetic level, with the light of your consciousness in the portal of loving kindness. That's the centering practice. That's you being an energy worker. That's you blessing and releasing. And I will be back next Friday and beyond with more blessing and releasing, always, always with love. Danielle.